Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Virtual World Cup. I am Evans Clinchy. I'm so happy to have you with us for this broadcast. This should be a good one. This is day one of the Virtual World Cup, round one, and we're going to be coming at you with a live match between Nigeria and Pakistan here on the opening day. This should be great. I hear that I'm a little bit too quiet. I'll try to adjust my mic and see if that's a little bit better. We are coming at you from the first day of the Virtual World Cup. Earlier this morning, we had a thrilling game between India and Malaysia, with India coming out on top 15-10. And now we got the second match of the tournament with Nigeria against Pakistan. I hope everybody's having a good Saturday. I believe it is Saturday everywhere in the world where people are watching this match. It is currently 9 a.m. on the west coast of the United States, where I'm coming at you from Seattle. It is 4 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. It is 5 p.m. in Lagos, where the Nigerian team is getting ready to play, and it is 9 p.m. Saturday in Karachi, where many of the Pakistani players are located. So it is Saturday across the board. I hope everybody's having a good Saturday. Just take a quick look at the Virtual World Cup standings. We are so far only one match into the tournament, which means that India is all alone in first place overall in the event at 1-0. They notched a 15-10 victory over Malaysia in the opening round of the tournament this morning. I want to say congrats to the Indian players on their victory in the first round, and I want to say thanks to Will Anderson for broadcasting that match. It was a little bit early in the morning for myself to be awake and broadcasting that one, but I am awake now and ready to call the opening round of the tournament for Nigeria and Pakistan. So just look at the standings. India in first place in Group A. The UK and Thailand will be playing tomorrow in their first match. And then in Group B, we've got Australia and South Africa playing tomorrow. And coming at you right now will be Nigeria and Pakistan. And then in Group C, we got Canada and Ghana playing in about 5 hours, or 4 hours actually. And then tomorrow will be Singapore and Kenya. And then in Group D, we got the US and the Philippines coming up later tonight. And Ireland and New Zealand will be earlier than that. It'll be in about 4 hours. I'll be coming at you live at that one as well. So whole lot of exciting Scrabble action coming up this weekend. We will try to broadcast as much of it as we can. I believe we've got 6 of the 8 matches being live streamed, which is pretty cool. And without further ado, I'm going to go to the live game screen. It looks like we've got a game already underway between Paki Boy and Jemo Wonder. That'll be Syed Imad Ali for Pakistan is Paki Boy, and Jemo Wonder is Wale Fashina. Unfortunately, I don't have all of the cool bells and whistles that Will had for his stream this morning, so I don't have the big fancy screen that shows you all of the individual matchups, but I will try to just kind of out loud tell you what they are. The starting lineups for these 5 teams. For Nigeria, they'll be led by Wellington Jiggery, the 2015 Westbet champion. Very exciting to have him in the field. And the other Nigerians will be Olaya Kabir, Enoch Nwale, Wale Fashina, and Olumide Olejide for the Nigerians. For Pakistan, Wasim Khatri leads the way. He is the undisputed best player in Pakistan over the last couple of decades, really. He's been a fantastic, not only player, but really a mentor for the entire Pakistani Scrabble community. He's a great player. And then the other players for Pakistan today will be Hamad Hadi Khan, Syed Imad Ali, Hassan Hadi Khan, and Sohaib Sana'allah. And Benji notes that Wasim is also the undisputed best player in his tournament, as Wasim has been dominating the double-double tournament so far that Benji's been directing, so that's been pretty cool to watch. So in the first round, we're just going to kind of jump around and kind of see what's going on in the games. I'm going to kind of take a quick peek at everybody here rather than kind of focus on too much on one game at the start. So currently we've got an early lead for Paki Boy. That would be Syed Imad Ali against Jumbo Wonder. It looks like the first bingo came down. That would be real time from Syed on turn 2, and he's got a lead of almost 100 points, 170-75 in the opening match. It looks like all 5 matches are underway. We can take a look at Wellington and see how he's doing. It looks like Wellington is playing Sohaib Sana'allah in his first game, and Wellington has drawn both blanks to open. Can't complain about that. Looks like he can probably land a bingo pretty soon. Annotace is the first one that jumps out to me, although I don't believe that one plays. I'm just going to apologize in advance to everybody. My Scrabble skills are very rusty, and if I am not seeing very obvious plays, then I apologize for that. I should be studying or something. But yeah, Azaleas, that's the bingo that I did not see that, of course, Wellington does. So an early lead for Wellington over Sohaib, 93-24. Again, if you're just joining us, India notching the first win of the tournament, 15-10 in their 25 games against Malaysia early this morning. And this is game 2 of the Virtual World Cup. This is Nigeria versus Pakistan, and we are just getting underway. 0-0 score so far in the match. If you're just kind of getting familiar with the Virtual World Cup format, basically the way this works is there's going to be 25 total games played in the match. There are 5 Nigerian players, 5 Pakistani players. Everybody plays everybody once, so that's a 5x5 round robin. 25 games total, which means that if your team wins 13 out of 25, you are the victors. It sounds like in the opening match this morning, India had already clinched their 13 wins with 1 round still to go. But everybody was a good sport and played the rest of the match out, which is good because spread does matter. There's going to be an 18 playoff after these first 3 weekends of the tournament, and it may come down to spread who qualifies for who, or who qualifies for what spot in the playoff brackets, that is. So, going to be interesting. A whole lot of Scrabble this weekend. I believe it's going to be 200 games this weekend, 200 games next weekend, and 200 games in weekend number 3 as well. It's going to be a whole lot of Scrabble. Waybin in the chat saying that my shuffle is not set to alphabetize. I actually don't know how to do that in this incarnation of WordBiz. Is that in the preferences, Waybin? You might be able to tell me. Let's see. Shuffle type, alphabetical. There we go. ADEINOP is the rack for Sohaib against Wellington. He is in a hole early. I don't believe he's got a bingo on this rack, and he's already down by over 120 to the former world champion Wellington. That's going to be a tough spot. Yeah, I see Aaron in the chat also saying set my shuffle to alphagram. You guys are correct. I just forgot to do that. I at the last minute got a word of advice from Will to use good old-fashioned WordBiz rather than actually going to isc.ro for watching these games. And I have not used WordBiz in about a decade, so if I'm a little bit rusty at how to use WordBiz, I apologize for that. But yeah, got the letters alphagrammed, and that's all good. Oh, I see Michael Tang says hello in the chat. Hi, Michael. Happy to have you with us. I'm happy to kind of skip around and see who else is playing who in the first round. I can take a look at Black Knight. That is Olaya Kabir. He is the number 2 seed for the Nigerian team. Olaya is playing against Rockstar 11. That's Wasim, the star of the Pakistani squad, and it looks like a pretty good game early. 163 to 128. Olaya with a small lead against Wasim, and it is Olaya on turn. Mega flop, a cool bingo in this one. That was the opening play of the tournament for Wasim. Hard to have a better start than that. Really nice start for him. Looks like he also lost a turn by playing QAMI instead of QADI. He played Kami at G7. Well, that's unfortunate, but okay. Wasim has rebounded, and he is still in this game, although it looks like Olaya has jumped out to a little bit of a lead here, 219 to 128. I'm getting word that the internet connection on my end is a little bit choppy. I apologize for that. I may at some point try to take a quick break and restart the modem. I'd like to not do that in the middle of the first game if possible, but if it's really, really bad, then let me know and I will take appropriate measures to fix it. We've had a lot of issues with our Wi-Fi here in Seattle. It's been throttled pretty badly as everybody's working from home and everybody's using a whole lot of bandwidth. So yeah, we're doing the best we can to keep the connection going strong. Again, if it is like truly horrendous, let me know and I'll do what I can do to fix it. Waybin in the chat mentions that this is a rematch between Nigeria and Pakistan. They already had a match a month ago. I remember that, yeah. Pakistan has been just really barnstorming the whole world and doing a great job in their team matches against all sorts of countries. They've had a really good run of it. It seems like a lot of the Pakistani players have been really putting a lot of time into their Scrabble during this quarantined period these days. Pakistan's a nation with a whole lot of young talent, a lot of young kids who are learning Scrabble, studying a lot, practicing a lot right here on ISC, in fact, and it's been really a thrill to watch a lot of those Pakistani kids get so much better at this game so quickly. And I think Wasim, who we're watching right now, is somebody who deserves a lot of credit for that. I mean, he's been a really great mentor to a lot of the players in that country. Speaking of Wasim, he is coming back in this game. He gets down unrigged for 87, and he now leads 241 to 233 against Alaya. So the rack for Alaya is DEEEFIO. A little bit awkward here. Not seeing any great way to unload those E's and, still score a little bit. I'm being told that the audio on the stream is fine, but the video is kind of a slideshow. That is not great. I will try to. I don't want to cut off the stream in the middle if I can help it, but if things don't get better in a couple of minutes, I may opt to do that. So Olaya comes out with Defer for 22. The awkward spelling, DEIFER, keeping EO on his rack, and it looks like Wasim has a matching very vowel heavy rack with 1 point scoring consonant, the H. Let's see, what can Wasim do here? Something like Hioi would be a great way to get rid of those vowels, but it's pretty scary defensively. You're going to be giving Olaya a monster counterplay when you do that. There's probably a safer way to go about it. 48 points on Wasim, but it's Wasim on turn. My OBS is telling me reconnection successful, so I hope that is reflected in what you guys are seeing on your screens. So it is Wasim now on turn, and he's got a little bit more of a balance rack than he's had previously. EEILTWY. Chris in the chat says, welcome back. Thanks, Chris. Happy to be here. I hope I'm actually here and you can see me and hear me. Yeah. I suppose the third backup plan, if I can't use Wi-Fi network 1 or network 2, is to tether my phone, but that's usually the slower option. I'm going to try to avoid that one. We'll see what we can do. I was planning to kind of jump around and look at a little bit of each game in round 1, but this is kind of an interesting one with the lead changing hands a couple of times, and now Wasim down by 48 with an interesting rack. If you guys can see the rack, EEILTWY, maybe share your thoughts in the chat. What do you think you should play here? I think there's some possibilities. You could do something like YEW would be a nice way to score and balance, get 31 and keep EILT. Something like that's pretty reasonable. Getting a couple comments in the chat saying it's better for now. That's I'll take better for now. That is better than not better for now. Still fading and freezing occasionally. Okay. I've tried to close out of all the programs on my laptop. I've tried to cease any other activity that's using any bandwidth, and yeah, that's really all I can say. Hopefully things get a little bit better as the day goes on. I'm not sure. Looks like YEW is indeed the play that comes down, and that's going to bring Wasim to within 17 points here with 14 tiles in the bag. We got ourselves a close game. I'm being told that my co-director Jennifer has stopped watching the stream on the same Wi-Fi network that I've been using. So hopefully that will help things a little bit if we have one connection and not two dialed into the Twitch stream. That might help a little bit. And Aaron mentions that turning off the webcam might also be a good idea. I will definitely consider that. If things are still really bad in a little while, let me know, and I will definitely consider the turning off the webcam option, because who really wants to look at my ugly mug anyway? Let's be honest. So 313 to 296, a small lead for Olaya. Still got plenty of time on his clock, over 6 minutes. AEJ NNRV. It would be nice if he had some kind of play here, but I don't think he does. I don't think Raven is a word. That would be Raven, but that's... Wait. Oh yeah, Raven works. Look at that. That's a good play. 34. Maybe hold on to the J for some future scoring next turn. So Elia comes up with Gene for 37 and immediately a bingo from Wasim. He now takes the lead, 366 to 350. This is going to get real interesting. 3 tiles in the bag, down by 16, and Elia's got a very awkward rack, 3 ends. You'd love to find a way to dump a couple of consonants, leave one in the bag, and maybe score a little bit. But first of all, the pool is looking not great for that. We've got, 9 consonants to 4 vowels unseen to Elia. That's not good news for him. And also just, if you do play off these ends, how do you score any points with them? You're actually down by 16 now. Definitely a tough spot. Yeah, this is a tough one. I mean, you really don't want to play non for 14, keeping NRSV. There's got to be something better than that, right? Again, if I haven't mentioned, very rusty at the Scrabble. Not going to see a lot of words today. I'll do the best I can, but let's see. What else can he do? Yeah, this is rough. Yeah, Chris mentions in the chat that Raven would have blocked the bingo. Yeah, if Wasim just had litters on his rack and no spot for it, this would be a whole different game. Oh yeah, the opening play of Detox and then the extension to Detoxing was open the entire game and nobody played it. I guess it helps that Wasim played 2 of the Gs at once and a bingo for 88 points when he played on Rigged. Sorry for coughing directly into the mic. I'll try not to make a habit of that. So if you're just joining us, this is round 1, game 1 of the Virtual World Cup for Nigeria and Pakistan. India emerged victorious in their first match of the tournament, 15-10 over Malaysia earlier this morning. And this is just the very beginning of Nigeria versus Pakistan. We're going to be coming at you for the next roughly 2.5 to 3 hours, so a whole lot of Scrabble coming up. These are 2 really great Scrabble countries. Really exciting first matchup. Waven in the chat mentions non-trucks. I like it. You know, you got to try something at this point. You are in dire straits here. Elia down to about 2.5 minutes on his clock. I probably shouldn't mention the time because that'll give you guys an indication of just how much I'm lagging, huh? He just got to 2:30 on my clock. Yeah, Waben says still occasional lags. I am sorry about that. I will definitely consider the turning off the webcam option. We'll see how dire things get. Oh, it looks like Elia finds a pretty strong play here. He finds Nor for 19. That does keep NNSV, and oh boy, he has drawn only 1 more vowel, just another O. So it looks like Wasim, if he can just find like any reasonable out in 2, is probably going to hold on and win this one. He's got a nice balanced rack with 4 consonants and 3 vowels, so it's a little bit easier for him. What do we see here? If you see me looking at my phone, it's because I'm embarrassed to say what words I don't know, and I'm checking them on my phone. Okay, so like these would be words, right? Share and Ritz. And then you keep URI. Yeah, that might not work. But yeah, definitely something like that. Yeah, Rich. Okay, there you go. Keeping Rue, and he's definitely got spots to go out with Rue, like up there at 14A. And that should do it. So it looks like Wasim is going to hold on and win this one. Let's jump around and see what else is going on. Take a look at Sohaib Sana'ullah and Wellington Jiggery. It looks like Wellington has a lead of about 100 points over Sohaib. That's pretty safe for him so far, but definitely still room for Sohaib to come back. Taking a look again at Packy Boy, that is Syed Imad Ali playing against Jamo Wonder, that is Wale Fashina, and it looks like a fairly close game, but Syed is probably going to hold on and win this one. He's up by 26 in the end game. Let's see, HUL for Wale. He would need 20 to tie and 21 to win, if my math is correct. Okay, so if we were actually lagging as much as you guys say, maybe I should just toss out the webcam for now and maybe deal with the internet connection issues later in the day. I don't mind doing that at all if I can. Let's see here. Just remember how to do that. Here we go. Let's go to cam and let's just toss out the webcam for now and see if that helps things out a little bit. So yeah, we're going to go Sam's webcam for a little bit, and it looks like we have seen the conclusion of this one with Syed Imad Ali defeating Wale Fashina in a very close game, 443 to 434. So I'm going to try to update the scoreboard as best I can. I'm not going to have results on all of the games necessarily unless everybody remembers to turn in their slips, which Scrabblers and turning in result slips, it doesn't always go smoothly. But I will try to update the scoreboard as often as I can. It looks like Wasim did indeed hold on to win against Olaya Kabir for 12 to 388. So, of the matches that I know of so far, I believe the score is 2 to 0. I will try to jump around and find the results of the other ones in a little bit. Nope, that is not the correct score. That is the opposite of what I meant to say. It is 0 to 2 in favor of Pakistan. There we go. So going back to Wellington and Sohaib, it looks like 386 to 261. Wellington with a pretty nice lead so far. So Nigeria will be notching at least one win in this opening round. Again, this is a 5-round match. It is 5 games in each round, 5 rounds total, so 25 total games. And so, even if Pakistan takes a small lead early of 2 to 0, there's still a whole lot of Scrabble still to be played. I'm going to be looking down at my phone and checking the result slips as they come in. It looks like another victory for Pakistan between Hamad Hadi Khan and Enoch Nawali, so it's going to be 3-0 Pakistan. Very nice start for the Pakistanis. Again, they've been playing a whole lot of national team matches online lately, and they've been doing very well against a wide range of opponents. So can't say I'm surprised at all to see Pakistan to a strong start here. Although Nigeria also a very strong team, would not count them out in the slightest. Again, the score is 3-0 Pakistan in the three matches that we know of so far. We'll definitely do what we can to track down the other scores when we can. So Wellington, about a 100-point lead here. Again, just really happy to have Wellington in the tournament. He is one of the best players in the world, no doubt about it. I was looking over his resume earlier. I mean, he is pretty much unparalleled, not only in Nigeria, but in all of Africa. He's a 12-time national champion in Nigeria. He's a two-time champion of the African Championship. That's the whole continent. And of course, he was absolutely dominant at the WESPA Championship in 2015. I had the pleasure of watching him as he dominated in not only the main event, but also the finals of that tournament. He was victorious in a 4-0 sweep to win the championship in 2015. Just really, really impressive getting to look over his shoulder and observe as he just absolutely crushed that tournament. He's just been one of the best players in the world for a very, very long time now. And having him in the field for this event has just been really, really exciting for me personally. I'm very happy. So Wellington here with a small lead over Sohaibu has come back a little bit. He gets down Jutsia for 74, and that'll make things a little bit closer. Both players pretty low on their clocks, around 1 minute left for each of them. And Wing comes down for Wellington, and that's going to be enough to hold on a win, it looks like. So we got a win for Wellington in his first game. Looks like Olaya lost, so that's 1 win for Pakistan. A3 versus B2 was Hamad Hadi Khan against Ingak Nawali, and that was a win for Hamad. A4 versus B3 was Wale Fashina versus Syed Imad Ali, and Syed won that one. So it looks like the one game for which I don't have a result is A5 versus B4. Olamide Oyejide against Hassan Hadi Khan. I believe those two guys are done playing their game. I can actually pop into their ISC history and take a look at the result. And it looks like a win for Olumide in his first game against Hassan Hadi Khan, 509 to 407. So Nigeria salvaging a 2-3 opening round. They get a couple of wins from Olumide and Wellington, and they are only one game back of the pace. So 3-2, an early lead for Pakistan. I will go ahead and update that on the scoreboard for you all. So 5 games down and 20 still to go, and Pakistan with an early lead in this match, 3-2. Whole lot of Scrabble still to come. I see Benji and Will in the chat talking about adding some bots. That would be wonderful. I actually haven't enabled any of that stuff yet, so if you guys can turn that on, that'd be wonderful. I didn't know how to do that. There's a whole lot of Twitch streaming stuff that I am still learning, and I want to just say thank you to Will and Benji and everybody else who's been kind of helping me learn the ropes as far as all of this streaming stuff goes. It's been a slow process because I'm not the most tech savvy person in the world, but I'm learning and it's a lot of fun. I do want to echo Will's sentiments that he mentioned earlier this week on social media that streaming really is the future of Scrabble. I mean, if you look at really any game in the world right now, whether it's chess, whether it's poker, I mean, you name it. Especially right now during this time where we're all quarantined at home using the internet all the time. Really, if you want to be anybody in the gaming world, you got to be online showing your games to the world. And I do think that having a great streaming presence for Scrabble is important. I want to thank Will and Benji and everybody else for doing what they've done to contribute to that. And I certainly will try to do my part as well. I do think that having events like this is important because it really showcases our work to the whole world and not just you know insularly within our own community. Yeah, Jesse Day in the chat mentioning that there's some flashy bingos on this board. Marema's especially. It's a 3N bingo. I don't see that too often, but also webpage is the opening play of the tournament for Hassan Hadi Khan. That's impressive. Yeah, this is pretty cool. Web page for 88. You got to feel pretty good about your tournament when the very first rack you look at is a web page for 88 to open the tournament. But Olumide came back and won this game. He got down Tortile for 67, Moremas for 72, Anthill for 80 late in the game. So yeah, very nice win for Olumide, 509. I'm being notified that Wellington has left the Internet Scrabble Club. That is, he's not supposed to do that. He's supposed to be playing his second game. I will assume that he's on his way back shortly, but we'll see about that. Thanks to Will in the chat for defining Collins and Coalition. All right, I guess we should go ahead and jump into round two. Let's take a look at, after Olumide had a really nice first game, let's see what he's doing in game two. Looks like it's going to be Defiant against Packy Boy. So that is Olumide against Syed Imad Ali. If you're just joining us, this is game 2 out of 5 in this 5-round long match between Pakistan and Nigeria. Pakistan won 3 of 5 in the first round, and this is round 2. Looks like a strong start for Pakistan in this round, as well as Axonite for 75 comes down for Syed on turn 2, and it blocks what would have been a bingo of Notifier for Olumide through that R and Chara, so that's a rough turn of events. Yeah, Aaron, that's a good point in the chat that we might need to expand a little bit in terms of how well we explain concepts to new players, because there's definitely going to be some things that that I say just because they come naturally to me that might go over the heads of a newer player who's trying to learn the game. So I'll definitely be mindful of that, because there's definitely some more we can say to kind of expand on some basic Scrabble concepts, but also keep the stream interesting for you guys, the hardcore players who are watching now, because definitely you guys want to pick apart the intricacies of some things. I'm getting a request to watch Wasim, and sure, I don't mind doing that. We can take a quick look at Rockstar 1-1 and see how he's doing. Wasim, in his first game, notched a win over Olaya Kabir, and in round 2, he's playing Enoch Nawali. Looks like Enoch's off to a small lead early, 74 to 50. He got down the bingo of Austere, and quickly Wasim hooks an R to make Austere and scores 26 with Trows. DEFMMNW. A little bit of an awkward rack for Enoch, but there's probably some ways to score some points and play through it. Something like Mew would score 26, and DFMN is a risky league with no vowels, but if you draw 1 or 2, you can kind of fight your way through it and keep scoring every turn. Ooh, a telestrator. That is another one of the... I should write like a long list of streaming concepts that I still need to learn, because I would love to have a telestrator where I could draw on the screen. I have not picked up that aspect of it yet, but that's a cool idea. I've watched a lot of chess on Twitch lately, and I've seen a lot of chess commentators that draw lots of arrows. Like this bishop goes here, and this knight goes here, and then this captures this, and it's really fun to watch. So yeah, I think that Scrabble could also benefit from having some artwork like that on the screen. You can kind of circle hotspots on the board and like show where the bingo lines are and stuff like that. Um, Not something I've tried yet, but definitely open to it. Um, by the way, I appreciate everybody in the chat who's kind of giving their advice on some elements that the Twitch stream should include. This is my first time doing a Twitch stream with like multiple screens like this. You see, we've got the standby screen, and we've got the screen with the pool play standings, and I'm still kind of learning how to do a more complex Twitch stream with a whole bunch of different screens going on. Thank you again to Will for kind of helping to get all of this stuff set up. I'm going to work on, just in the next few weeks, kind of adding a couple of more screens to my repertoire, and maybe by the end of the tournament, I'll be like reasonably close to Will's level, just in terms of like being able to juggle multiple screens. But so far, that is a work in progress. So a nice play of Demon for 27 by Enoch, and it looks like bingo on Wasim's rack. At least I think so. That looks like a really familiar rack. Sconce, that's the word in that. I knew that. Stop laughing. So 101 to 50, a small lead for Enoch early against Wasim. He's probably going to retake the lead with the bingo soon. I will jump around a little bit and see what's going on with some other games. Let's take a look at Black Knight. That is Elia Kabir. He's playing Sohaib, and it looks like a slow early going here. Just a couple of moves so far. Vrau, the opening play from Sohaib, and then 24 points for Elia for Yuk. Maybe there's a way that Sohaib can make a little overlappy play here and score some points. That's 31. Something like that is reasonable, I think. You could play pre-on, keeping CD. Is that better? I don't know. So 3-2 early on in the match. Pakistan with the lead. And we are going to be kind of jumping around and observing a few different games here in round number 2. Looks like a close game, but it's still very early between Sohaib and Elia. Let's take a look at the former champion, Mr. Jiggery, see what he's up to. Looks like Wellington against H. Hadi Khan. There are multiple Hadi Khans. I got to check my work on this. It is Hamad Hadi Khan. No, Hamad Hadi Khan is Rowdy Hadi, and Hassan Hadi Khan is H. Hadi Khan. So Hassan is down 50 points to Wellington in this one, and wow, some cool bingos on this board. Hyenas and Hellward. Yeah, Hellward was the first play of the game from Wellington for 84 points off the H and Hyenas, and then he got down Sapremia for 86 on turn 2, so 170 points in his first 2 turns. Hard to have a better start than that. Wellington doing great so far, but it looks like both blanks for Hassan. He does the second one now, and he's looking at a pretty strong rack. I'm not immediately seeing a bingo. Thought he had Virginia, but no, that has 3 I's, not 2. Only 1A. Maybe he doesn't have one? So it looks like he's just going to play Invar for 24, and that's going to give Wellington a nice spot to play his J. Something like Jog. Jog comes down immediately from Wellington, and that's going to put him up over 100 points. But again, Hassan still has the second blank on his rack. I am happy to take requests if anybody wants to watch another player. We're definitely going to be watching a lot of Wasim and a lot of Wellington in this tournament. I mean, they are 2 of the biggest stars in the field, so we're going to be watching them plenty, not only today, but in future weeks. But happy to show you more of them, or if there's another fan favorite out there you guys want to watch, I can tune into them as well. Yeah, Aaron, I agree that 25-minute clocks are, I understand why we use them in tournament play, but definitely a faster time control is a little bit better for online matches like this. You want to keep things moving quick, keep things entertaining. We arrived at 15 just based on first of all, we had I think 5 one-day tournaments leading up to this virtual World Cup, where we invited anybody who wanted to play to play. And just based on user feedback, we learned that 15 was a pretty popular time control in that. And we also surveyed players before we opened up the virtual World Cup and asked whether they were fine at 15, and the majority of players were fine at 15. Of course, some wanted faster, some wanted slower. A lot of players in Nigeria, Wellington included, were like, no, let's go faster than 15. But I think the majority was happy to stay at 15. A lot of players in Nigeria have a playing style of playing very defensively and very fast, and it makes it pretty difficult to compete with, because they're, constantly closing down the board, taking away your easy opportunities, and you've got to spend more time to find the harder opportunities to score points, and your clock starts to run low when you do that. So it's tough to play against a player like Wellington, who plays in that style pretty often. But these Pakistani players, a lot of them are young kids who have bundles of energy. They have no trouble playing fast. I have played against a lot of these Pakistani kids, I believe, including Hassan, and yeah, they play pretty quick. You'll see that in this game, we're about 3/4 of the way done. Wellington has used less than 3 minutes total, and Hassan has used just over 5 minutes. So none of these guys are, burning a lot of their clock, it seems. We are about 43 minutes into the match, and these two guys are already pretty close to finishing their second round. So this is some fast-moving Scrabble. It's been a lot of fun to watch. Benji says, type stall in the chat if you want Wellington. Why would you want Wellington to run his clock down to 0? So Hassan plays Tosing for 51, and he's back in this one, down by just 14 points, 343 to 329. AGNRSTU for Wellington, sorry. Only 2 8-letter bingos with that rack. One is Strange, and the other is Nutgrass. Neither one of them plays. So Wellington burns through the rack, scores 26 points, and keeps RS on his rack. Looks like a reasonably balanced pool of unseen tiles. Well, not exactly balanced. There are 20 tiles unseen to Hassan at this point, and there are 13 consonants to 7 vowels. Interestingly, the Q is still unseen, along with one of the 4 U's. We could find ourselves in a situation where the endgame gets close and there's a gross Q that you got to deal with. That's always a possibility. Well, Benji, if both the Nigerians and the Pakistanis play really fast, I am perfectly fine with that. That'll keep this match going quickly, and I'll get a nice long lunch right before the next one. So, I got a busy day ahead of me, so if I can get an extra 10 minutes of time off, I'll take it. Just to recap the schedule for you all, it is currently 9:45 a.m. on the west coast of the U.S. where I am, and what is that in GMT? 4:45. We're going to be coming at you with a second match on the Coco Scrabble Twitch feed in, what is that, just under, God, math is killing me today, just under 3 hours? at 1 p.m. Pacific, we will have the match between Ireland and New Zealand. And then at the same time, we're going to have Canada playing Ghana. I probably won't be updating you guys live on that match by showing you the matches on ISC, but I'm happy to give some score updates as they come in. Like when I see the slips in the Canada-Ghana games, I give you guys a quick update on how those games are going. Jeremy in the chat saying that Kijis, I don't think that's a word, Jeremy. I think you're trolling me. And I'm going to fall for it because I don't know words at all anymore. It's really sad. That's right. Kidgy is an adjective. There's kidgier and kidgiest. I knew that. So Guide, G-I-E-D, comes down, and Wellington has drawn the dreaded Q. He does not have a U to go with it. He's got 6 consonants, including the Q, and the E is his only vowel. And Wellington has lost contact or quit. He has disconnected from ISC. That's not good. We will hope that he comes back soon. I'm going to just briefly jump to another game while we wait for Wellington to return, but I will definitely keep an eye on that situation. Let's take a look at Enoch and Wasim. They've got a close game here. It looks like Enoch is up by 16 points, and he's got the first of the 2 blanks on his rack. Wellington has returned. I'd be happy to take you guys' advice on whether I should continue to stream Wasim and Enoch, or whether I should give it a try going back to Wellington. Which would you guys prefer? Parasol comes down, and that's going to put Enoch up by almost 100. But then immediately, Wasim comes back with Patronize, and now Enoch has drawn the second blank. I'm going to make an executive call that we stick to this game for a little bit longer because this is getting interesting. Enoch up by 21 on turn with the second blank, probably the favorite to win this game, but definitely depends what he can figure out to do with this Q, and it depends on what Wasim draws. QIN comes down, and okay, it looks like Enoch is going to be fairly comfortably ahead, and I'm going to hop back over to Wellington, take a look at what's going on in his game. Again, that's an 18-point lead for him over Hassan Hadi Khan, 369, 351. 9 tiles still in the bag. That's right. If you are interested in checking out all the scores of all the games, you can definitely check out our live coverage website. That is cocoscobble.org/live coverage. There's a hyphen in there. It's live-coverage. So Wellington is going to stick with that Q. He plays Rife, R-Y-F-E. I believe his leave was what, QRS. If he can draw the U, he is fairly well out of the woods. If he can't, then we'll have to see what happens. Oh yeah, Waven points out that Friars was an option there. I guess you mean in line 12, making audios. Doesn't score that much more, although I guess the extra tile turnover to find a U to go with that Q is pretty helpful. Ooh, he does not find the U. He doesn't find much of anything useful for that Q. So Kef comes down for big points, 32 for Hassan. And now Wellington's ahead by only 6 points, and he has not drawn the vowels needed to play that Q. He might just drop the Q with QIN. I don't hate that. What do you guys think? It would leave 1 in the bag and put him ahead by 18. You'd have ENRSTY and a 7th tile. That's not too bad. Yeah, Jesse points out in the chat that if he does draw the U, there's a spot to play Qua. Yeah. So if he gone for a higher turnover play like Friars, he would have increased his chances of hitting Qua, and that would have been a high-scoring way to ditch the queue, and he could have won pretty comfortably if that had worked out for him. But that's, again, only if he draws the U. If he doesn't, this could get real ugly, let's be honest. Oh, so if he plays the Q in the top left, he's blocking his own bingos. That's a good point. Yeah, Yesern trains. Tyrone's doesn't play in that spot. But oh, yeah, Cinturi does. Yep, yep. So fish the Q at the bottom right. Yeah, that's a good call. And then it's exactly what he does. And he has drawn either the A or the U. So there's a 50-50 chance that he now has trains on his rack. But there's also a chance that Hassan is going to find Stoiter and just make this thing pretty tough. Well, if he does play Stoiter, that would put him ahead by, actually, that would only put him ahead by, what, 54? And then if Wellington has trains, does it play after Stoiter? I'm not seeing that it does. I think Stoiter might be a game-winning play if Hassan can find it. And now it just comes the interminable wait for the player to either find or not find their bingo. This is always tough. You're just sitting and waiting and hoping. I have no rooting interest one way or the other between Nigeria and Pakistan, but I generally appreciate just seeing great plays. And so if Hassan can come up with the bingo here and win this game, I'll be happy for him. As for Wellington, I mean, this would be a tough beat. I mean, if he gets Hellward and set premium, he's got 170 on his first two turns and can't win. That is brutal. Indeed, Hassan does find Stoiter, and he now leads by 54. And wow, Wellington did draw trains, and I don't believe it's going to play. If you guys can just back me up on that, I don't believe there's a spot. Oh yeah, Tordes also works. Is someone snoring in the background? No, that is just my laptop. I got all kinds of tech issues. I'm sorry. I have an overactive fan on my laptop. I turned it off all night and let it just kind of sit and relax and cool the fan off overnight. I thought that might calm things down a little bit. Turns out that whenever the laptop is plugged into a charger, which is pretty often, it starts to get a little bit overactive with the fan. I'm going to try to tamp that down the best I can. I'm using a headset rather than just having the mic of the laptop read my sound directly, which helps a little bit, but yeah, that noise is still a little bit much sometimes. Oh, interesting question. Can he pass? Well, you're asking whether Hassan should pass with Stoiter? Yeah, I don't think that would work out too well for him. Because there's always a chance that oh yeah, also Alters and ETA, that'd be a nice play. Yeah, what would have happened if Wellington had played the Q up top? I mean, I think that Jesse was correct that it was theoretically not the correct play, but it is interesting to think about. Well, actually, I don't know. Maybe it is correct. Maybe you're better off trying to outrun than trying to bingo, just because so often when you get a bingo in that situation, your opponent does too. Like there's a lot of situations like the actual one in the game where Wellington draws trains, but Hassan draws his own bingo of Stoiter. Yeah, definitely an interesting endgame. We'll have to go back and take a look at that one later. I'm going to take a quick peek at my phone and see if we get any results coming in from round 2. I believe we should. It looks like Syed Imad Ali is now 2-0. He notched another win, this time over Olamide. And it looks like Hassan Hadi Khan will indeed hold on to win this one against Wellington, 467 to 407. Let's see, who else can we watch? Who else can we watch? There is still a game between Sohaib and Olaya, and it looks like Olaya has a pretty comfortable lead of over 100, so Olaya's going to win that one most likely. And then there is a game between... Oh, this is round 3 getting started. Wale and Wasim are getting started with round 3. So I will do everything I can to track down the scores from the second round and update you guys on that in just a moment. Yeah, apologies for the Hadi Khan confusion. There's a whole lot of Hadi Khans in this tournament. This is Hamad, who is filling in as an alternate. Moise couldn't make it to today's game. He had family obligations to attend to, but he will be back next week, I believe. And Pakistan, I believe, is playing, I want to say, Australia in round 2, so he'll be there for that match. Just take a quick look at the overall bracket for the tournament. So this weekend, all of the 2 and 3 seeds are playing each other. So we've got Nigeria and Pakistan. We've got Canada and Ghana later today. Ireland and New Zealand also later today. And UK versus Thailand tomorrow. That'll be Benji on the call with that one, I believe. As far as the 1 versus 4 seeds, India victorious over Malaysia this morning by a score of 15 to 10. And then Australia plays South Africa tomorrow. Singapore plays Kenya tomorrow, and the U.S. plays the Philippines. I believe that game is at around, is it midnight GMT? It's 5 p.m. on the West Coast. No, 6 p.m. on the West Coast of the U.S., 9 p.m. on the East Coast of the U.S. I swear to God, this tournament is going to make me learn time zone math so well. I am not good at it yet, but I will absolutely get there. So, whole lot of Scrabble still coming. Again, Moise did not make it to this match. He had a family obligation, but he will be back next week for Pakistan versus Australia, which should be a really exciting match. I can't wait for that one. Australia, of course, the champions of the Alchemist Cup in 2018. Pakistan, a nation that is loaded with up-and-coming young talented players, so that's going to be fun. But that's next week. Let's stay in the moment and live for right now. This is Pakistan versus Nigeria, and thanks, Will. 1 a.m. GMT is the time zone of the U.S. versus Philippines match. I believe that is Sunday morning by Philippines time, but Saturday night for the Americans. It was a fun challenge trying to schedule 8 different matches in a way that everybody would be awake. Oh, Aaron says, take care. Thanks for doing this. You're welcome, Aaron. Happy you could join us, and have a good rest of your Saturday. Sorry, I've gone a little bit quiet. You guys can talk amongst yourselves. I am trying to track down the scores of our matches. It looks like not everybody's turning in a slip on time, but I will try to gather the scores the best I can. Looks like we're in for a fairly close match. Both teams are gutting out some close victories in these games. All right, so all the results are in for round 2 of this match. Looks like the winners in round 2 were Hassan for Pakistan, Olaya for Nigeria, Enoch for Nigeria, Olaya for Nigeria. But I said Olaya twice. I will fix that. And Syed for Pakistan. What did I mean to say? Hold on just 1 second. Why is that match in there twice? I will fix that in just a moment. A4 versus B2 should have been Wale against Hamad. And that means the winner of that match was looks like Hamad won that one. Okay. Okay, so Hassan for Pakistan, Hamad for Pakistan, Syed for Pakistan, and then Olaya and Enoch for Nigeria. So another 3-2 edge for Pakistan in round 2 of this match, which means the score goes from 3-2 Pakistan to now 6-4 Pakistan. And I will update that on your scoreboard. So Pakistan has the early advantage for sure. They're now up 2 games on the higher seeded Nigerians. You know, it's interesting because we are looking at the possibility of multiple upsets to start the tournament. Malaysia was the higher seeded team against India in their first match and came up short. India actually beat them 15-10. And now we're looking at another situation where Nigeria is the higher seeded team, but they're now currently trailing 6-4. Pakistan has the lead early. So it just goes to show that ratings are not everything. They don't immediately determine who's going to win what match, and you just gotta play it out and see who wins. That's why they play the games, they say. I'm just getting word that Wellington is again not online for his match. I'm not sure what the deal is with that. I will try to. Oh, and now he's right on cue, coming right back in. There we go. Not sure why he keeps leaving and coming back, but luckily he is ready to go with his next game. So we are currently watching Wasim against Wale here in round 3, and it looks like Wasim's up by over 100, 257 to 150 in that one. Squad streaming. I like the sound of that, Will. So you can have switching back and forth between two different streamers. That is interesting. I am open to that possibility for sure. So Pakistan leads this match 6-4. We are about halfway through the match as we are looking at the middle of round 3 here. Wasim with a 65-point lead over Wale here in this match. I will jump around a little bit and see who else had an interesting game going on. This is Black Knight against H. Hadi Khan. That is Olaya Kabir against Hassan Hadi Khan. Get that right. And Hassan has been playing very well so far today. Is looking like he's headed for another win, unless there is a triple here. He's probably going to be ahead, and it looks like, yeah, Yeasted is the play from Olaya. No triple. And that's the first blank, and then Hassan has the second one. AHNPTU blank. Is there a bingo with this? Geez, there's another triple open through that G. I didn't even look at that one. This is a pretty dynamic board. No lead is too safe, but if you're Hassan, you gotta like having the second blank on your rack. That puts you in a much more flexible position. So AHNPTU blank, not sure. Oh, unpathed, is that good? It is, okay, nice play. So it looks like a pretty safe lead for Hassan, who has been doing very well in this tournament so far. Let's jump back to Enoch Nawali, see what he's up to. Looks like Sohaib has a pretty nice lead so far, 163 to 108, but a lot can change. It's Enoch's turn. AHNOU. What can one do with this? It's the kind of rock where you would like to find a way to both unload as many of these vowels as you can and also play off that H and source some points with it. Hard to accomplish both of those goals with this particular rack. I'm not seeing a great play. Like, you could play something like but that keeps a whole lot of vowels still. I don't see a way to play more of the vowels that still scores well. Yeah, that's a little bit awkward. Thank you, bot, for telling me that unpathed means not pathed. And path is a verb from Shakespeare. What did they say about Shakespeare? That like 10% of the words he used were like words that he made up himself. Maybe it wasn't 10%, but it was a lot. Maybe he made up the word path and just we never gave him the credit that he deserves. I don't know. I'm just saying maybe. Path is from Shakespeare. That is good to know. Butter 15 to the rescue. Hoa. Okay, that's a nice way to unload an extra vowel and still score a little bit. 24 for Enoch, and he's now down by just 31 points here. Oh, so by playing Hoa, he opens up the AIDA hook for AID, and Sohaib cashes in his E for 52. And Enoch has drawn an ugly rack now with 2 E's and 2 U's. That's going to be rough. Let's see what else is going on. Let's take a look at Pakistani rockstar himself, Wasim. Looks like Wasim has a little bit of a lead here, 329 to 288. And he is now on turn with a little bit of a gross rack. HLNSTUV. What can you do here if you are Wasim? So nth is the play from Wasim, and now interesting turn of events as Wale has drawn the second blank. He's also got a nice J for scoring with. Definitely an opportunity here. What can he do with that J, though? I'm not immediately seeing a monster spot for it. Not seeing a bingo either. Yeah, Waven, I believe it was LSUV, I think was the lead with nth. So even though Wasim has the lead, he's got a pretty ugly rack, and we know that Wale has the second blank to work with here. What are you guys seeing here with the J? I'm not really seeing a star play. Oh, wow. Jejunity was blocked. That's a great call. You don't often see somebody say, if only I could make this blank the second J for my bingo. But sometimes these things happen, I suppose. So joy is the play, keeping a leave of ENTU blank. That's a pretty strong leave, and it's going to give Wale a pretty good chance to bingo next turn. The rack gets a little bit better for Wasim. He kept LSUV and he drew ALM. A little bit more consonant vowel balance now. Wasim now ahead by 54. Clock ticking for Wasim now down to about 4.5 minutes. Not too bad, still plenty of time to navigate this pre-end game. Waven says maybe just Lav. Oh yeah, Qualm is interesting. It definitely is a strong equity play. You know, in terms of the points in the lead, it's pretty good. But do you really want to swing the board open in that situation? You are ahead by a bingo, so maybe don't allow a bingo. Where's the spot for Lav? Why am I not seeing the Lav? Oh, just in the bottom right corner, overlapping. Oop, making Lou and Ape. Yeah, I mean, if you play Lav, keep LMSU, that's pretty decent just in terms of what you can score with it, and you can just kind of balance. And well, he plays Loves, okay. That's good for 24. So to his leave of Tune Blank, Wale draws NT. That's not great. I don't think he's got a spot for Untenty, does he? Any other bingos besides Untenty? Oh, he plays Nutrient Through the Eye. I didn't see that was a bingo lane. That does fit. Look at that. And now all of a sudden we got ourselves a tie game, 384 to 384. This is going to get really interesting now. One tile in the bag, and Wasim has drawn a nice balanced rack. He's got what? Lime Wash to an H. AILMSW. Score is exactly tied, 384, 384. Wasim on turn. I think he's probably in decent shape to win this thing if he can just find a reasonable way to go out in two. You know, if you can play a lot of tiles, score well, and give yourself a flexible lead that can go out no matter what you draw. I'm not sure what play fits those criteria. Man, if you could play Willem, like the actor Willem Dafoe, that'd be great. But that's not a thing. Um, AEILMSW. I don't believe there are any bingos available that Wasim needs to be afraid of. I don't think Wally's going to have a spot to play any of them. But as always, let me know if I'm missing something. I'm going to be missing stuff left and right, there's no doubt about that. Oh yeah, Meow on the top left corner underneath Burrow is looking pretty strong. That would score 33, so you'd be up by 33. You'd have AILS and a fifth tile. I mean, me personally, in these situations, I like to look for ways to play off more tiles so I can make it easier to go out. Because you don't know what tile you're going to draw as that last tile in the bag, and you want to have the flexibility to go out no matter what it is. So he plays Maw, similar play, scoring 30-ish and getting rid of the M and the W. And his last 5 tiles are going to be tiles, Tiles. And does play tiles plays here for a nice score underneath Maw. So now, if you're Wale, you're down by 31, and I'm not actually positive that Wasim goes out next turn no matter what, other than something like tiles or well, he's got to block style hooking too also, so you can't really block on both ends of Maw here and here, can you? So I think maybe Wasim is guaranteed to go out. Another score update. It looks like Olaya lost in round 3 to H. Hadi Khan. Double checking. Yes, that is Hassan. Looks like in the chat someone's saying there's a big win for Imad over Wellington. I'm not going to check that right this second since we're in the middle of an endgame here, but I will take a look at that in a moment and see what happened. 31-point lead for Wasim. It looks safe for Wasim. I don't think there's a way for Wale to, first of all, block both the outplays that Wasim has, and second of all, score enough to outrun. Another score update. It looks like a win for Daddy Fian over Rowdy Hadi. That is a win for Olamide over Hamad in round 3. At this point in the match, Nigeria needs to do more than just, salvage a 2 and 3. They've got to start gaining some ground. They lost 3-2 in the first round and 3-2 in the second round. They're now down 6-4 going into round 3. They got to start gaining some ground if they want to make this match closer in the later rounds. It would be great for us to have a really close endgame to the whole match. I heard from Will that in the first match, India already had the match clinched after round 4, and they were just playing out the string in round 5. And India ended up winning by a full 5 games, 15-10. The onus right now is on Nigeria to make this one closer than that. We'll see what happens. Looks like Sahib in round 3 Notched the win over Enoch. Another win for Pakistan. They're doing well. So it looks like this is probably going to be a win for Wasim, but Wale just looking for any possible way to seal this thing. So Pakistan's already won 2 games in this round with Hassan and Sahai both getting the wins. The only other game still going is Wellington's, which rumor has it is a big lead for Syed. Yeah, it looks like he's up by about 140. 433 to 295. Nice lead for Syed in that one. Hopping back over though to Wale and Wasim, and Peeled comes down for 30, and then Tiles for 27, and Wasim does indeed hold on to win. Your final score is 448 to 414. Another win for Pakistan. That is their 9th win of the match, and soon to be 10 if Syed holds on to beat Wellington. So a lot of credit due to these Pakistani players. They were the lower seed. Of course, Nigeria's got a world champion on their side in Wellington. Another very, very, very strong player in Alaya. But these Pakistani players have come on strong today. They are really playing well. We've seen some exciting end games, some cool bingos. It's just been a lot of fun to watch. And looks like they're going to be leading by a score of 10 to 5. Oh, so QPR fan points out, I don't know who you are, QPR fan. Have we met? I'm not sure. QPR fan points out in the chat that 10-5 is the same score that we had through 3 rounds in the other match between India and Malaysia. So if things go according to form, it'll be another win for Pakistan. But there's still a long way to go. I mean, Nigeria could definitely come back. If you're down 10 to 5, you got to go what? 8-2 in the last 10. I mean, that's hard, but not impossible. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and, no offense to Wellington, but update the scoreboard for round 3, assuming that Pakistan holds on. Assuming that Syed holds on, that is, and wins this game over Wellington. It's going to be 10 to 5. Looks like I was not prepared for a double-digit number to fit in this box. Let's just move things a little bit. Sorry about that. How's that look? Maybe I should move it over a little bit. There we go. 10 to 5. Pakistan with an early lead in this match. Not that early anymore, really. Like I was saying, yeah, I mean, basically they need to win 4-1 and 4-1 the next 2 rounds to seal this match. Currently, it is a pretty solid position for Pakistan to be in. So this would be quite an exciting morning. We already had one upset win with a 3 seed beating a 2. India 15 to 10 earlier today over Malaysia, and quite possibly a second update if Pakistan can hold on and win this one. I assume, Webin, you're laughing at me for my inability to fit two digits on the screen at one time. It's really hard, man. I didn't size it for two-digit numbers. I was trying out the display last night, and the score was 0-0 at the time, so I didn't realize that like bigger numbers took up more space. This is complicated stuff. um, anyway, just am I not expecting Nigeria to reach double digits? I just don't know. Anything can happen. We'll have to see. If and when that does happen, I will make some further changes. All right. Again, just a quick look at the overall standings for the tournament. So far, we are just one match into it, with India notching the first victory of the tournament. They have a 1-0 record thanks to their win over Malaysia this morning. And we are about 2.5 hours away from the next match in this tournament. That'll be New Zealand and Ireland, I believe. Yeah, so actually Canada versus Ghana is at 8 p.m. GMT, and then Ireland, New Zealand is at 8:30. I'm going to be streaming the Ireland-New Zealand game, so I'll be back at 8:30 GMT, which is 1:30 p.m. my local time here on the west coast of the U.S. Oh, I see Jennifer in the chat saying that Pakistan and Nigeria have submitted their results without a single error. That is very impressive. You know, I think it's to be expected in this tournament that with 775 total games of Scrabble, including 200 each of the first 3 weekends, that like we're not going to have perfect 100% success in filling out the slips. But if we can have a whole match where everybody fills out the slips correctly, that would be really fantastic. Yeah, Chris pointing out in the chat that for people who play word games, we should be able to spell, but for some reason, a lot of us just can't. Yeah, it's a very true point. I'm not sure what that's about. Anyway, yeah, we will have Ireland and New Zealand. I will be streaming that one here at the Coco Scuttle Twitch feed at 8:30 p.m. GMT tonight. And then later, we will have the U.S. and the Philippines, and we'll have a special thing going on for that where Will be live streaming himself playing, so you can watch Will in real time kind of think through his moves as he plays against the 5 Filipino opponents. Wayman, I know you can make all your jokes about how we have these weird names for players, but we're just putting names that they submitted, okay? If Kuwei tells us he's Kuwei, then he's Kuwei. That's not my fault. But yeah, I know that some of the players on the website are maybe not named by their most familiar names. I believe that Kuwei goes by Darren Koo often. Yeah, I see Rick pointing out in the chat that the Irish players are 1 hour behind GMT, so it's 9:30 p.m. for them. I guess you call that ahead, not behind, right? If the time is later, yeah. So yeah, it's 8:30 GMT, but it's 9:30 UK time because they're on the British Standard Time. Man, I spent so much time earlier this week just on Google, typing in search queries what time is it in Dublin when it's 8 p.m. in San Francisco, and there were just all sorts of fun time zone math problems. I'm just happy that all 8 teams are available to play. We had to do some awkward scheduling for Ireland, New Zealand. I think we found a time that was Saturday night for the Irish and Sunday morning for the New Zealanders, and that was the way to make it work. Luckily, I think a lot of the Irish guys are happy to play late evening games, as I believe many of them indicated. The time zone math never stops. That is correct. The time zone math never stops. The time difference between Ireland and New Zealand, is it 11 hours or 13? I think it's whatever the times are, they're I can't remember. It's either 11 or 13. They're pretty far apart. It's funny because I was reaching out to Howard Warner, who's basically the captain of the New Zealand team, and asking him uh, before the tournament whether they could have a team for the tournament, and he said, "Well, a lot of players are interested, but they're concerned about potential time zone issues." And I was like, "Okay, well let's math this out. Like, what's the worst case scenario for you guys? Like, if you play Ireland, and then as luck would have it, who do they play in the first round? They play Ireland. So it's just funny that we run into some pretty crazy time zone quandaries in the very first round. Canada versus Ghana was also not fun to schedule, um, especially because Ezekiel Markway is one of the Ghana players, and he's actually living in the United States right now. So there's like a whole other time zone to consider. But I guess luckily Ezekiel's in the same time zone as some of the Canadian players, so that make it a little bit easier. Thanks, Rick. I'm doing what I can. It's a pretty crazy event. I've done the best I can to schedule games in such a way that as many players as possible can make it. We've got 80 different players in I don't know how many different time zones, a lot of time zones. It was unfortunately not possible to find a time that all 80 people could make it, but I think we've got like something like 75 out of the 80 are going to make it to their first games this weekend. Unfortunately, the UK is without their top seed in Pyotr Andronowski, and of course Pakistan today is without their number 2 player in Moise, but currently Pakistan is doing just fine, even without one of their top players. Again, if you're just joining us, Pakistan is off to a great start in their first match of the Virtual World Cup. They lead 10 games to 5 after 3 rounds, and we're going to get started now with round number 4. Let's take a look at Wellington versus Rowdy Hadi. This is Wellington Jiggery versus Hamad Hadi Khan. And Wellington has the early lead in this one, 122 to 79. If you consider the score, Pakistan's up 10 to 5. Really, the ideal scenario for Nigeria is to win 4-1 this round and 4-1 the next round. I mean, ideal is to win all your games, but 4-1 is really your goal to stay in the hunt. It's going to be really tough otherwise. Oh, wow, I'm seeing in the chat that Hassan Hadi Khan got down Meerkats for 167 in his game. Wow, so Hassan Hadi Khan leads by almost 200 points over Enoch Nawali. That is just a crushing blow to the Nigerians. I mean, they need to win every game that they can. And getting tripled on for 167 is not what you need right now, Nigerians. That is rough. It looks like Hassan Hadi Khan got down Tuffin on his first play of the game for 71, then Ofi Urin for 102 as a double-double on his second turn, and then 167 on turn 4. Hassan with 397 to 220, just a crushing lead right now. And he bingos again. He's now at 483 on, what is that, turn 6? Unreal. So just a great game for Hassan Hadi Khan, and that's going to put Pakistan in a commanding position. Let's check on the other games. Syed versus Olaya is pretty close. Olaya's got a small lead early in that one. Wasim versus Olamide is a pretty nice lead for Wasim. So if Pakistan can just win 2 out of these 5, I mean, that would put them at 12 wins, and they're just 1 win away from clinching it. Yes, indeed. Pakistan on fire. I see Barry in the chat commenting that, yeah, Pakistan's off to a really, really good start. I see dubsteps on this board. That's a cool bingo. Dubsteps for 64 from Wasim Khatri. A cool double F bingo of Rifolas for 78 by Olamide. So if you're just joining us, it's been a really exciting first morning of the Virtual World Cup. Well, at least this morning where I am. It's later in the day for a lot of other people. But 15 to 10 was the final score in the match between India and Malaysia, with the lower seed India notching the upset victory. And we're now looking at a possibility of a second upset victory with Pakistan holding a strong lead over Nigeria, 10-5 here in the fourth round out of 5. The Pakistanis have been playing well in their online national team matches throughout 2020. They've had a lot of nice victories, and it looks like they are in position for another one here. This game between Wasim and Olumide is getting a little closer, though, as Olumide gets down Jinx for 49 and Hop for 37. But still basically a one bingo lead for Wasim, 246 to 181. Let's take a quick look at the other games. It looks like a close game between Wale and Sahai, but that's really a must-win for Nigeria. Any close game you see, Nigeria needs to win at this point because they cannot afford any more losses. Pretty much, they are staring down elimination. If Pakistan gets another round victory of 3-2, it's over. Oh, thanks for the pitch, Benji. I agree. You guys should definitely follow our channel. This is our first major worldwide event that we've run on this Coco Scrabble Twitch feed. We've had a few one-day tournaments, but this is the big one. This is our real chance to share our content with the whole world and really let the whole Scrabble world see what the Coco brand has got to offer. So I want to say thanks to everybody who's watching today, and I hope you will tune in for more matches, not only this weekend but throughout the 6 weeks moving forward. We're going to have Benji streaming tomorrow as the UK takes on Thailand. We're going to have Will streaming later today as the Philippines and the US do battle. And then tomorrow we're going to have Jeremy Koo streaming as Singapore takes on Kenya. So a whole lot of exciting action coming up this weekend. It's going to be a lot of fun. And thank you to everybody who's followed along and enjoyed it all. And so thanks to Scrabbler27 for the compliments, and thanks to QPR Fan for keeping us posted on the other games going on in the match. And thanks to Epistinctor for joining Twitch. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Again, all of you guys, I don't know who you are personally. I'd love to say hi, so let me know who you are in the chat if you'd like. I'm very curious. But thanks to all of you guys for following along and enjoying the games. This has been fun. So we got a fairly close game now between Sohaib and Wale. It is 224 to 198. For Wale, he's got the J. What can he do with the J here? He can play Judy for 31. That's reasonable. He does play Judy, and Sohaib has drawn a bingo. He's got Trouncer up here in line C. I don't believe he's got counter recount. I don't think those fit. Cornute, I don't see a spot for that either. Looks like Trouncer is the play here, unless I'm missing something else. Oh, Scrabble 27 is Hriday Samtani from India. Hi Hriday. Good to see you. Oh my gosh, it's Becky. I'm sorry, Becky. My Latin skills are not very good. B. Dyer. Oh, that's wonderful. I'm happy you're here. This has been a learning experience for me too, this whole Twitch thing. And first of all, I apologize for the garbage truck that's right outside my window dropping a dumpster extremely loudly. If that gets really bad, I can mute for a little while. But hopefully the headset's not picking up too much of that noise. So yeah, Trouncer does come down for Wale and or for Sohaib, excuse me, and Wale comes back with a tap for 31. Sahib is one tile off from Thiazine. Only that U were an I. But since it's a U, what does he have? I mean, just Zeta is reasonable. As long as you can, block the spot and score a little bit, you're going to be pretty comfortably ahead in this game. Yeah, so we got a packed schedule of games we're streaming this weekend. It's going to be more from me, Evans, later today with Ireland taking on New Zealand, and then after that it'll be Will Anderson streaming his 5 games that he's playing for the U.S. against the Philippines. Again, you can just check out the full schedule at cocoscombo.org/live coverage. No, the didgeridoo concert is not just you. The didgeridoo concert is a flaw in my laptop. The fan gets a little bit overactive when I'm streaming and makes a lot of noise. I was hoping that the new headset would minimize that sound a little bit, but apparently it is still a little bit of a problem. Maybe I should just bite the bullet and buy a new laptop. I don't know. I'm doing my best, guys. I'm sorry. So, Zati is the play from Sohaib, and that's same thing as I was saying with Zeta. As long as you can block the spot and score reasonably well, you're going to be in a good spot here. 78-point lead for Sohaib, and now Wale has a rack that is not quite bingoable. He'll have to do his best to score well and keep this game within striking distance. Just looking at my ISC, it looks like all 5 games are still going, so we have no results to report yet here in round number 4. But it looks like a lot of them were pretty close, with one exception. Hassan Hadi Khan was pretty much cruising in his game. Let me take a quick look at that one, then we'll hop back to Sohaib in a minute. Oh my gosh, yeah, Hassan is beating Enoch by over 300 now. So that is a pretty comfortable victory for him. Anyway, back over to Sohaib and Wale. Looks like about a 70-point lead. And Sohaib is on turn with a little bit of an awkward rack. AAEHNSU. Oh, Kate's saying in the chat that you get used to the weird noise. That is a relief. I was really worried that having the weird noise would hinder the broadcast, but luckily you guys can still hear things pretty decently well. Oh, I didn't realize that the air conditioners were bad for Alchemist Cup. Being a player rather than observer in that event, I really enjoyed the air conditioners. So, because it was summer in Malaysia, so yeah. So it sounds like we're hearing in the chat that Nigeria is in good shape to win this round 3-2, and if that holds up, then we would have a score of 12-8, meaning Nigeria would need to win all 5 games. As to your question about spread, it's extremely unlikely that spread's going to matter at all in this tournament. The only situation where spread would matter is if there's a tie and the match ends up tied 12.5 to 12.5, which is obviously not too likely. But we're going to keep tracking the spreads just in case. There is a reason that we track every single game, and that is one of them. We might need spread if there's a 12.5 tie. The other possibility, and this is pretty unlikely too, is what if there's a situation where we're deciding after the conclusion of pool play who makes the playoffs, and there's a situation where 2 teams are tied. Like say there's 2 teams are both 2-1 and they both finished 45 and 30 in their 70 games, and so they're tied on both match wins and game wins. We could possibly use point spread as a third tiebreaker in that situation. So there's always a chance that spread will matter, but it's very unlikely. Oh, I see Jeremy in the chat recommending a background noise tool. I will definitely check that out. I downloaded something called Speed Fan last week, and it didn't help as much as I hoped it would. But I will definitely give these OBS tools a try and see how they work. So Sahib here with Eastful on his rack. That yeah, Wayman points out that he blocked it himself. Good job, Sahib. So the first result is in from round 4, and it is a win for Nigeria as Olaya comes up with a win over Syed. Other 4 games still in progress. Block is also in the unseen pool. It would be great if somebody could win a game by blocking the winning bingo using the word block. I don't think I've ever seen that happen, but there's a first time for everything. So Haim is ahead by 57. That's the kind of score where really your only objective is don't get bingoed on. Ooh, sunblock is in the pool. Yeah, I mean, there's probably a few words that are in the pool. If Wale draws the blank, he's got a shot here, but it's going to be tough. Yeah, sunblock. Yeah, what else? Maybe I shouldn't say a few. It's actually kind of tough, huh? Yeah, so flu is a nice play. Blocks pretty nicely. There's still the chance of bingo through the O or the C, but it's pretty difficult. Would Wally have had lurkings, or is lurkings not a word? I don't love lurkings. Oh, lurkings is good, and lurkings was blocked. Wow. What then? You got 2 tiles in the bag. I'm not seeing a great way to play off 1 tile in a way that sets up more bingos. That would be the ideal play. If there were a way to like play off the K that like scores and sets up or something, yeah, I don't know. Wow, Stefan's saying in the chat that Hassan Hadi Khan wins by 302, 650 to 348 over Iman. That is craziness. So Chris points out that Sulfa and Zatis would be a cool play to block everything. Yeah, that probably works too. I mean, if it empties, it's probably not a problem, right? You can just win anyway. We've been suggesting ink and then hope for lurkings. Oh, you can play ink? I see what you're saying. You can play ink here and try to triple with lurkings. You have to draw what? N, U? Yeah, it's possible. I mean, that is the kind of desperation play you need to make in this situation, right? You need to open more places to bingo. And again, spread very unlikely to matter. Okay, so he plays Uke for 20. It doesn't look like he's drawn the right letter. The unseen title pool from Sahai's perspective is 7 consonants and a vowel. Looks like a couple of our players have left the Internet Scala Club. I see that Enoch and Wellington have both signed off. Hopefully they'll be back soon. But for now, let's see how this endgame is going to resolve itself. One tile in the bag, and Sohaib is looking comfortable here. I don't see a way that Wale can bingo. Fish for a 9 through the T and the I. Well, probably not anymore with the K blocking things up. Oh, and Clabber still has a bingo. He's got isobutane through the TI. I didn't know that Earl King was a German word. That's cool. A spirit that does mischief or evil, especially to children. Jeez, that's kind of scary. Don't like that. So high down to under a minute left on his clock now. He's gotta pick something. I don't think we've had a situation in one of our tournaments yet where a player is leading on score but loses on time because ISC only lets you go 1 minute over. That would be a shame, but don't think that's going to happen here. Just kind of talking hypotheticals. Bosun for 22 is the play by Sohaib. It looks like he's going to hold on and win this one. He's up by well over a bingo here in the end game. Let's take a look. Oh, so Olaya has already started his round 5 game. Let's I guess everybody's finished their round 4 games, so we can go ahead and start watching round 5. I will try to update the scores from round 4 and let you guys know as soon as possible what those are. Let's see, it looks like Wellington in his game notched a win over Hamad. Olaya also got a win for Nigeria. Hassan with the win for Pakistan. And then I got to check on B1 versus A5, Wasim versus Olumide. And looks like the winner of that game was Olumide. All right, so Nigeria is still in it. So Nigeria gets a 3-2 win in the 4th round. And that's going to take our score from 10-5 to 12-8. Whoops. I'll show you guys the bracket later. Didn't mean to do that. So Pakistan 12, Nigeria 8. And that means the Nigerians have their backs against the wall. They must win all 5 games in this final round if they want to steal this win 13-12. It's going to be tough. Again, if you're just joining us, this is our second match of today, Saturday. This is the opening day of the Virtual World Cup. India was victorious in the very first match of the tournament. They defeated Malaysia by a score of 15-10, and that was an upset for a 3 seed beating a 2. And we're now looking at a very good chance that we see a second time that a 3 seed upsets a 2 seed, with Pakistan, the lower seeded team, now leading Nigeria 12 games to 8 as we go into the final round. Later today, we're going to have Ireland versus New Zealand. That one is taking place at 8 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. 8:30. Canada is playing Ghana at 8 p.m., and I will not be streaming that, but I'll give you some updates on the scores as they come in. And then at 1 in the morning, Greenwich Mean Time, we'll have the U.S. versus Philippines, and Will Anderson will be streaming that one live at twitch.tv/Wanderer15. So a packed day of Scrabble. But back to the action here on ISC. We are looking at the final game between Nigeria and Pakistan. We got 5 Nigerian players playing 5 Pakistani players, and all 5 Nigerians must win in the final round if Nigeria wants to win this match. We got a close game here between Olaya Kabir and Hassan Hadi Khan. It looks like Wellington Jiggery is playing against Wasim Khatri. I mean, this is probably the game we should focus on the most because this is the 2 stars of the tournament. We'll definitely tune into that one in a bit, but I'm just going to jump around and see what's going on right now. Enoch Nawali with a small lead, 92-86. He leads against Syed. And like we just saw earlier, Olaya in a close game trailing Hassan Hadi Khan by just a little bit. But yeah, I mean, these are really the 2 stars of the tournament, Wellington Jiggery and, or the 2 stars of this matchup anyway, Wellington and Wasim Khatri. Pakistan is a really deep country with a lot of Scrabble talent, but Wasim is definitely the standout of them all. Wasim is a 7-time national champion in Pakistan, Wellington a 12-time national champion in Nigeria. These guys are the 2 superstars of their respective countries, and it is really a thrill to get to watch them. So definitely going to tune in for as much as we can of this game between Wellington and Wasim, but we will keep you posted if we can on the scores of the other matches. And definitely, if anybody in the chat is jumping around to the other games, feel free to post some score updates as you guys go so we can keep the whole chat apprised of what's going on. Obviously, right now, Pakistan is a heavy favorite to win this match. All they need to do is win 1 of the 5, but, that's not guaranteed. I remember that when I was playing for the U.S. at the Alchemist Cup in 2018, we were facing a similar deficit going into the final round of the Alchemist Cup against Australia, and we needed to win all 5 of our games, and Australia needed to lose all 5 of theirs. So it was 10 distinct outcomes that we needed, and I think we got like the first 8 outcomes that we needed to go our way. And then finally in the 9th game, somebody lost. So, sometimes you have these situations that look like blowouts, and then some crazy plot twists happen late. So you just never know. Definitely Pakistan ahead right now, but we'll see how Nigeria fares in the final round. Cesar asking in the chat, why so close when down? That's a great question. Yeah. Interesting choice by Wellington to play Rid for 20. I think Wellington has this kind of style where he's comfortable playing a closed board even when he's behind because he trusts that he can come back later. But it definitely comes off as counterintuitive to a lot of players out there. I'm not going to lie, myself included, really. So what do we think here for Wasim? He's ahead by 26. He's got the first of the 2 blanks on his rack. BOOPTU blank. And just in general, what do you think of how to navigate this closed board? You have a small lead. You have the first blank on your rack. You don't need to open things up, but you do want to keep scoring as best you can. And Wellington is disconnected. I'm not sure if it's a connectivity issue on Wellington's end or what's going on, but he has left ISC a few times during this match. Hope he can hop back on soon. But in the meantime, I'll jump over to the second game. So in the final round, all of the seeds play each other in order. So A1 plays B1, B2 plays A2, etc. So we get the top seeds, Wellington against Wasim, in the final round. And these are the two seeds. Olaya Kabir, the second best Nigerian, and Hassan Hadi Khan is filling in for, Hamad Hadi Khan is filling in for Moise, who would have been the top, the second Pakistani player, but he couldn't make it today. Looks like a close game here between Olaya and Hamad. Again, Nigeria must win all 5 games this round. A lot of pressure on them right now. Definitely the Nigerian. Olaya has a chance in this one, only down by 12 points. He's got the Z on his rack. Oh, Benji, that's a good point. He could have just been exiting the web browser window. It looks like Wellington is back. We can pop back over to Wellington versus Wasim and see what's going on there. Cream is the play for 43 points from Wellington, and he's taken a small lead, actually a very small lead, 1 point, 100 to 99. And I don't immediately see a spot for a bingo leg out Pier or two pays. And that's what happens with a closed board like this. Your bingos don't play, and you got to find some backup plans. Oh, eel pout is a word, and eel pout comes down. Nicely done, Wasim. Okay, so eel pout scores 89, and now sound 88-point lead for Wasim. And again, 1 win is all Pakistan needs to clinch the victory. So it's funny, we thought the board was going to open up after Oboe, and then Cream blocks the left side of the board with the C and the blocking up the bingo line, and then Eel Pout immediately takes out that spot along the bottom. And now I think we're kind of back to a closed board again. So this is a rough situation for Wellington. Again, he absolutely must win this game to keep his team alive in the match. He's down by 88 points, and the board is pretty ugly. Caw is a nice play, though. You're opening the hook for the S for Ska. And he's got a blank. He's got a chance here. Down by 110, though. He's got to keep scoring. Raven suggesting Wespa or Wespas. That's a good idea. But really, you should play Coco. If only, Raven. If only. An eel pout is a kind of fish. I guess it's just an eel? What's an eel pout? What's the pout? I don't understand. ST is a nice play by Wellington to unload 2 consonants and score decently. That's 22 points. Another unplayable bingo as Wasim has Tangy Eye, but I very much doubt it's going to come down. I think I phonied somebody with STA once, but I somehow don't think that Wellington would go for that. So Wasim drops a couple of vowels and scores 15 points. And do we see the bingo now? Yeah, something like penults and vavs would be fine. So definitely Wellington's going to bingo now, and that'll put him back in the game a little bit. For example, if he were to play penults, that would be 76, and he'd be, within 30-ish. I can't do math. What is that, 27? Something like that. Planets, same deal. Yeah, so he's within 27 points. I don't believe that's a bingo for Wasim. It's a pretty decent balanced rack, but I don't think it bingos. Fanlake, though, is a nice play. Fanlake scores 38. And now Wellington in a position where he'd really like to bingo again. Do you consider opening the board now? Oxide is 49 and opens the triple. That might be a little bit too open, though. What do we think of Oxide? What do we think of just Ox? Let's see, what else? He does play Oxide. I think this is the right moment for Wellington to start opening the board. You can't really afford to keep it closed much longer. So you play Oxide, you're down by only 16, and you're just going to open the board and pray to draw something good. Wasim keeps scoring. Blam is nice, but Blam also has hooks. You got Blams, you got Blame, you got to worry about those. Wellington, I don't believe he has a bingo here. Agorot is a word, but it does not take an S, so there's no Agorots. Interesting spot here for Wellington. He's now down by what, 49 points. You probably want to keep as much open as you can. You want to preserve that Blam's hook. It'll be ideal if you could open up even more ways to bingo. I mean, something like Ag for 19 keeping roots. Is that interesting? I don't know. Gives you a spot to play Chaz. You can bingo there. Roots is an interesting bingo stem. There's a lot of good tiles you can draw with it. Good. Yeah, you could play good into the D. It depends, how much you want to prioritize keeping spots to bingo open. Cesar says chug. Chug. There you go. That keeps AORST. So definitely not over yet. Wellington's got some ways to sneak back into this game, but it's going to be tricky. All 5 games still in progress, no results yet. Again, Pakistan is 1 win away from sealing the victory here. Oh, getting an update that Enoch has won his game. So if that's the case, then Nigeria is 1/5 of the way there. So Wellington does indeed choose good. So that kills one of his possible spots to bingo, and it really means he's going to have to bank on Blame or Blams working out for him. Actually, he can also have something with rides here in line N. So there are multiple ways to bingo. The thing about good is that triple line benefits your opponent too. It gives him an easy spot to score. If you just let Wasim to continue to score 35 every turn, he's gonna win no matter what you do. Yep. So Enoch with the win over Syed. Maybe I should update the scoreboard every game so you guys can have up-to-date information on what's going on. Yeah, so it's 12-9 now, including the win by Enoch. The other 4 games are still in progress. Nigeria must win all 4 to win the match. Jesse points out that Wellington can threaten the Z. That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, in a situation like this, you want to create some volatility that can benefit you. And if you need to get lucky to win, you might as well create opportunities where you can win when you get lucky. Create your own luck. So what does Wasim do here? Dhinost. Almost good nights. That's cool. Oh, play the N and the S for Eanes and Ilpaus. Yeah, that blocks the hooks on ride. Scores pretty decently. I like the look of that. That would be 39. That would put him pretty far ahead. I mean, he's still not out of the woods for sure because Wellington could go somewhere else, but that's a nice play. This just in, another win for Nigeria. Jama Wonder and H. Hadi Khan. That was Wale A4 with a win over Hassan B4. So Nigeria still with a chance here. That makes it 12-10. 3 games to go. Let me just quickly resize some things. How's that looking? 12-10. Okay. So 2 wins down and 3 to go. Wellington still with a chance in this one for sure. Really an exciting ending to this match. It looked like Pakistan was going to run away with it, and now Nigeria has come charging back here in the final round. This is going to be close. So far, Enoch has already won his final game. Wale has won his final game as well. Other games still in progress. I think we're going to stick with this game since it is interesting and it is, the 2 best players in the match, Wellington for Nigeria and Wasim for Pakistan. But definitely, if anybody has updates on the other scores, plural, I should say, let us know. Wow, another lead for Nigeria. QPR fan in the chat saying that Olumide has an 80-point lead in his game. So Nigeria with a real chance to come back and win this thing, but really the hardest part is going to be for Wellington to beat Wasim here. Board starting to get a little bit more blocked up. The good news for Wellington is that Wasim has a tough rack here. He's playing through a whole bunch of consonants. I don't see a fantastic spot for the Z. You can play, I guess Dex and Zo is 37, but you're keeping 3 N's on your rack. I don't know. Oh, and we just got word that Pakistan has won the match. So win for Hamad Hadi Khan over Alaya Kabir in the final round. So Pakistan will hold on and win, but wow, this was a dramatic ending for sure. So let's just take a quick look at the winning board. We'll pop back to Wasim in a second, but just want to see the final board. So Rowdy Hadi with a 10-point win over Black Knight. That is a really thrilling ending to this one. Hamad Hadi Khan, 404. Alaya Kabir, 394. A 10-point victory. Is it close in the end game? We can take a look. Looks like it was pretty close. with Olaya playing Toast for 38 to take a lead in the endgame, and then Haji for 45 being just enough, and it ends up being a 10-point win for Hamad Hadi Khan. So that's really exciting. Congratulations to Pakistan on the win. We will, just to finish out this match, go back and watch the ending of Wellington versus Wasim. But again, congratulations to Pakistan on the win. I will go ahead and update the score. 13-10, and we will just finish out these last couple of games. Yeah, Cesar, to answer your question about the standings, yes, goal difference does matter because obviously with 2 teams out of 4 advancing from each group, there's the possibility of a tie in the standings. You could have a situation where the standings are 2-1, 2-1, 2-1, 0-3, or the opposite of that being 3-0, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. And in either of those situations, you got to break the tie among the 2-1s or the 1-2s, and that means you got to use spread. And so the spread will be not the points scored in the games, but the overall game wins. So if there's 75 games and one team wins 50 and one team wins 49, the team that wins 50 advances. So yeah, that's why we're playing every single game, even when there is already a final winner determined in the match. Every game matters because we could have some tiebreakers that turn up. So let's just watch the ending then of this game between Wasim and Wellington. 345 to 304. Wasim with a 41-point lead, 8 tiles in the bag. Looks like the other game that is still going on is between the number 5 seeds, Sohaib and Olamide are still playing. So it remains to be seen whether Pakistan will finish this match with 13, 14, or 15 wins. But in any event, a very nice opening match of the tournament for them. They were the underdog in this match according to WESPA ratings. We use WESPA ratings to seed all the players, and Nigeria was a 2 seed in their bracket. Pakistan was a 3. So congrats to Pakistan on the upset win. Both of these teams are in the same bracket with Australia, and so it's going to be very, very tough to knock Australia out of contention for this tournament. But there's a very good chance that these are going to be the 2 teams battling for a spot in the playoffs, Nigeria and Pakistan, because they're the 2 and the 3 seeds. That's why these 2 versus 3 matches are so important, is because whoever wins this match is going to be in a much stronger position to advance to the knockout rounds. And Pakistan in a really tough match. I mean, Wellington is a world champion. Olaya Kabir is another very strong Nigerian expert. This is a tough team, and Pakistan came out and just fought really hard for every game, had some big wins. As we saw Hassan Hadi Khan with the 650 in the previous round. Also some really close victories. We saw the 10-point win for who was it? I am blanking. But the final game against Olaya, it was Hamad Hadi Khan who beat Olaya in the final game. So just a lot of interesting games. And just a credit to Pakistan. They earned this one. Just waiting to see if Wellington can work any magic and win this game against Wasim here. Six tiles in the bag. It's Wasim's turn. He's ahead by 27 points. What can he do here? Definitely got to worry about that Ryu play opening up hooks for Wellington to bingo. Yeah, that's probably the primary spot you got to worry about still on this board. I mean, Ian killed the hooks on ride. Yeah, and it looks like Lun is the play for Wasim to block any bingos that Wellington might have hooking there, but it looks like he didn't have anything anyway. An awkward rack for Wellington, Giiorrs. Ryu is a Japanese school of martial arts. That's cool. So just over 2 minutes left on Wellington's clock. He's looking for some kind of desperation way to set up a bingo here for himself. He's down by 33. I don't think there's a way for him to score enough points to come back without a bingo. Not down by 33, and not when you've got this awkward pile of letters that don't do much. Looks like another final score coming in. The game between A5 and B5 was Sohaib against Olumide. And the winner of that game was Olumide. So another win for the Nigerians. Again, this was just a very, very close match in the end. It looked like Pakistan would get a runaway victory, and then not so in the end. 13-11 Pakistan, and this is the final game of the match now, with Wellington looking to steal one here at the end. He plays Jiro. That's interesting. That will open things up a little bit and give him a chance. But we know that Wellington's final rack is re-raise and re-arise. And it looks like the common sense thing to do is just to block that spot, and he should be good. So, and zoned is the play from Wasim, and that's going to block everything. So it looks like Wasim is going to hold on and win this thing. So it's very exciting stuff. We're just going to take a quick look at the standings for the tournament. I will update these as soon as this match officially goes final, but it will be Pakistan prevailing over Nigeria in this game. Earlier this morning, India with the 15-10 victory over Malaysia, so they're in first place in Group A. We're going to have Pakistan for the moment in first place in Group B at 1-0, Nigeria at 0-1. We're about an hour and a half away from the start of Group C with Canada playing Ghana. And then we are 2 hours away from the start of Group D with New Zealand playing Ireland. I'm going to be right here live on twitch.tv/CocoScrabble. I'm going to be streaming the Ireland versus New Zealand match. That one starts in 2 hours. It starts at 1:30 p.m. my local time here on the west coast of the U.S., which is 8:30 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. And that's going to be a fun match. Ireland has a very strong team led by Paul Gallen, who is one of the very best players in the world. Kevin McMahon, also a very strong Irish expert. New Zealand is led by Howard Warner. They've also got Blue Thorogood and a lot of other strong players too. So it's going to be a good match. Ireland, the 2 seed, they are the favorite. New Zealand is the 3 seed in that match. But so far, we've seen back-to-back games where the 2 seed has lost to the 3. So nothing is to be taken for granted here. Every game must be earned. Just watching the very last moves of this match between Pakistan and Nigeria. Again, Pakistan will win the match. And it looks like Wellington just getting to the very end of his clock with 30 seconds still to go. He finally does play Sere, S-E-R-E. And the game ends with a final score of Wasim 405, Wellington 358. So we take one last look at the scoreboard, and the final score is Pakistan 14, Nigeria 11. Congratulations one more time to Pakistan on the win, 14-11, your final score. Pakistan will be in first place all alone for now in Group B at 1-0. Nigeria falls to 0-1. I want to say thank you to everybody who tuned in and watched this match. And, don't go anywhere because we're going to be right back with some more Scrabble in just 2 hours' time. 2 hours from right now, we'll be tuning in to watch Ireland and New Zealand right here on twitch.tv.